What do they do up in space there, Space Commander, when you get sick? Do you have a you have a medical capsule you have to go to, or
that's right? Yeah, if you don't get to the medical capsule, if you don't get to the medical capsule quickly enough, it can be a right mess, because you can just imagine someone puking up in 0G. Oh, good grief! You have the old squeegee mop out for weeks trying to clean that stuff off the interior. Oh,
stuff floating around there.
That's right. That's right. You've never blown chunks till you've done it in space. Trust me.
I think I'll start the episode with that, Space Commander.
Wow. That's an image I'll never forget.
Listen up, maggots. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special UK episode of the Slammerhouse. With me today are my special guests, Space Commander, our #1 renegade Mark Potter, and Sgt Slaughter, or should we call him Sergeant Slammer? Nope, it's Sgt Slaughter. No push-ups for us.
Right, full force, full force.
Full force.
Full force.
It's time for action.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, everyone seems to be decked out in some sort of action force and or Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh my goodness, look at
We're all
that.
wearing something. I got Sarge.
How about that? How about that for Mark, huh?
Yeah.
Look at, somebody got almost outranked me. Not quite.
Almost. He couldn't possibly.
How many tattoos are
I like it. Space Commander.
Look at that.
Yes.
So that Sergeant Slaughter, that looks, I must have seen that before. That looks very familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, careful! You almost showed off something else there.
Yes, I have that in my phone. I got a picture. He sent me that years ago.
Yeah,
got to be years ago.
It's a few years ago now. Yeah, because
you
thought it was a decal, and I said no, it's real.
As soon as I saw that, when I saw that was #1 renegade right there.
Yeah, for sure. So
you got to have your heroes on your arm.
Yes.
All right, true. I'm lacking. I'm not a real fan until I get some ink of Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah. How do you like my cup?
Oh, very cool.
Oh yes.
Got that in the post. Someone said that to me.
Oh, very nice. We'll have to figure out how we can get some of those. We all have our moments where we go through, bits of, men's health. I think is something that doesn't often get talked about. There's a bit of a stigma around men's health, whether it be mental health or physical health or anything like that. And I think the more that we can talk about it as grown men or adults, even communicating it to our younger siblings or kids, I think it's a healthy conversation to have. And any bits of help and knowledge never gets lost on me. I was just telling Mark before that I'm super into he goes on long walks at the moment, and he always takes some amazing shots of all of the scenery around him. And I've never been to the UK, so I get to live through his excellent photography skills, and it's part of that has inspired me, along with Kelly's journey. She showed off her stuff on Facebook, as well as some other notable YouTubers like Desert Rat doing his current weight loss journey into becoming the action figure form of Desert Rat. And it inspired me to get active again too. I've been in a roller coaster as far as weight is concerned, and I was saying before that I often make an excuse for not doing exercise or looking after myself, and it reaches a point where you have to take accountability for yourself and start looking after yourself. So I've started to take walks. It usually gets to about 45 minutes in the day, which is a good start. If I can just manage some other bits and pieces in my life, I think it'll be full force.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, the whole thing about men is that we're always supposed to be the tough one. We're the one that doesn't cry, and
right.
We're the ones that have to put everybody's load on our back, and that's just not true. We all have the same feelings.
Right.
I know Mark went through some tough times the last few years with the general, his father, and of course I lost my father a while back, but I know what that feeling is. And and it's good to have someone to talk to about it, reach out about it. That we as men, you take over the throne when the father leaves, and
right.
Usually the oldest son is now the household person that has to make the decisions, and that's not always the case. Men aren't always as strong as women, but we do what we have to do, and there's no time limit on mourning. I still mourn, for my father, and I lost him 20 years ago, and it's just something I miss every day.
Yeah.
And I know Mark's going through that right now because it's more fresh.
Yeah.
That it just recently happened, but his father was always there. We always had a lot of fun with the general, and I'd send out little messages to him, and I'd hope that one day I was going to get over to the UK and meet him. But I'm sure he's looking down on us right now, and he's part of this broadcast. So,
sure.
How are you doing with everything, Mark?
I'm coping the best I can. I have good days and bad days.
Yeah.
And I know my dad, if he was here now, he'd be loving it, seeing you on the screen and everything. Because he always, when I said, whenever I tweet you, I said, all the Sarge said, give you a Slaughter salute back and everything. And he was like, God bless him. He's a wonderful man and everything else. And it's true, you are. So it's, it's fantastic. I could get very emotional.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Your fathers should be your heroes, which mine wasn't. I know Mark's. I'm not too sure about the other two guys on the show. I'm not sure if your fathers are still with us or not.
My dad is still kicking.
Yeah.
We recently reconnected. Never really lost touch necessarily, but I think we're the kind of men that are a little bit more reserved as far as communication is concerned.
Right.
So, it can be weeks or even months, or, in some instances it became years where there just wasn't any communication. And that came from both of us. It wasn't one-sided. We just weren't, it wasn't necessarily anything in particular. It just wasn't, there just wasn't any communication there. It's hard to explain. But then when we do talk, it's fine. We're able to have a good conversation. One of my favorite recent memories, in fact, was I went to see Phil Collins play in Australia, and I went twice. The first time I went by myself. It was front row tickets, all the trimmings. There was a dinner, gold standard, everything, front of the line sort of stuff. But I was there by myself, and whilst I was there, it was the concert was spectacular, but it was very lonely and very isolated, and it quickly came to realize that I was there by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went again. So that was the first concert in Australia, 2019. That was his first concert in Australia for that tour. And then I went to the last concert of that tour, and my dad, I went to fly to Melbourne, and my dad was there. And Dad actually paid for the tickets to go and see Phil Collins in concert. So he came with me on the second time I went. And we weren't front row. We were a little bit further back. But overall, and it wasn't, so it wasn't all the flash and bang that I had on the first one. but it was more of a overall better experience. I was able to enjoy the music more, the show more, because I had Dad there with me, and we were, enjoying the concert together. And you forget about all the years that have gone by, and you're just able to be in that moment. So, yeah, it's it was a good memory. So, we had a few beers. He put me onto gin and tonics, which I hadn't really drunk before. So now I'm really big on gin and tonic now. But yeah, it's one of the it's a strange relationship. But hi, Dad, if you're watching. Let's say hi, Mum, too. You never know.
Good job, Dad.
Yeah,
He's smiling and laughing about it. I'm sure all those songs, the second concert, the words had different meanings. I've gone to concerts with my oldest daughter. Neil Diamond was our last time to have a concert together, and I'm up on my feet and singing "Sweet Caroline." Bum, 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 bum. We just had a blast. We had such a good time. We didn't want it to end. So Chris, listen up. Never ever let your enemy eat your breakfast, and that's an order. Keep that agility going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Yeah,
agility. What about you, Space Commander? You got any?
Yep, I've still got my dad. He's mad as a box of frogs, but we've still got him. He gave us a good scare a couple of times, but he's still ticking along. It's interesting talking about going to gigs with your dad. My dad has got a lot of stuff in common with my older brother and with my younger brother, and so it was always kind of no fault of anyone, but we were just kind of the three boys, I was the one who was like most different from my dad. I mean, my dad's looking at motorbikes with my younger brother. He's looking at flash cars with my older brother. What the hell does he want to look at a spaceship with me for? So,
yeah.
But he did take us to gigs, and a year or two ago when we lost Eddie Van Halen, poor guy, it kind of brought back some memories because of my dad took us to see Van Halen twice, both times in Wembley, which is like the biggest gig in the UK. Saw him on the first gig was April 29th, 1993, a date seared in my memory. And I remember it because I accidentally punched my dad in the head. there's the song "Run Around."
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, the song "Run Around." And in the video, when they sing the chorus "Run Around," the band members are doing this kind of spinning of the hand in the air sort of thing. So of course the song starts, and me and all these other Van Halen fans start doing that, and I didn't realize, because at the time my dad was still a bit taller than me. My fist was perfectly aligned with his face as I was spinning it. I lamped the poor guy. So yeah, when poor old Eddie Van Halen died, they were doing a thing about him on the radio. They were asking people to send in their Van Halen memories. So I emailed them and I said this. I gave them this story, and at the end of it, I said, please, can you say sorry to my dad? And I said, Dad, you got to listen to this radio show. Listen to this. Why? Yeah. Because there's something you need to hear. So although I wasn't apologizing to him directly, I did still apologize to him. So sometimes as a guy, like Sarge was saying, you have to sort of keep your guard up at all times. So I did apologize, but I went around the houses to do it.
Yeah.
Right, that's fun. It got there in the end.
It did, yeah.
So another thing, Mark, that you've directly inspired me to do is take the scenic route home. So so your photos, I don't have quite the countryside that you have, but I enjoy all your action figure photography, and sometimes you'll send me a picture just of the whatever the countryside that you live in, and it's always so beautiful. And I'm like, I actually saw. I'm going to backtrack a little because I saw this quote and if I can remember the quote correctly, it was, you don't often realize you're having a moment until it becomes a memory. And so I'm trying to appreciate more of being in the moment. So with your walks, Mark, that you do around that scenic area, what I've done, and I sent you a photo today of some of the scenery that I have. It's not quite as great as what you have going on, but what I've decided to do is appreciate that moment and allow myself to have that moment. And so now I don't wear my earphones. I don't listen to music. I go through the scenery. I listen to the nature. I look around now as opposed to just dead on where I'm trying to go or down where I'm walking. You know, it's just, there's just so much more to see on your journey if you open your ears and open your eyes. So thank you for that.
Oh,
it's actually you. It's really helped me actually. So, and I know I touched a little bit on mental health before, but I do have my moments where I struggle, and some of that struggle is with confidence. I struggle a lot with confidence until I'm in the moment, and then I sort of find it, you know. But even now, before I sit down with all you guys, I'm always a little bit petrified. Not sure how I'm going to react or act or whatever. But I went live for my first time ever. I went live on YouTube. This is recording now. It's not live, but I went live like it was like happening in the moment. And I was sitting there hovering over the button that said live, just dead frozen. It's like, you know, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And then when I did it, I hit live, and then I didn't have the courage in the moment to be on screen. It was like at least a minute of silence, and I wasn't on screen or anything. And it wasn't until a fellow channel member jumped into the chat of that live video and let me know that the live was working, and he could see it, I felt less alone in that moment. It really helped me bring a bit more of that courage. Yeah, I felt a lot better in that moment. And then it ended up being a 3-hour live stream, and everyone jumped on with me, and they're all sitting around. We're just chatting about anything that came up. And then I thought to myself, you know what? The world can seem like a really small place, but thanks to the internet, and there's a lot of bad things on the internet, but thanks to the internet, we're able to reach out more, and we're able to find more like-minded people. We've got people in the UK, we've got people from America, we've got Space Commander out in the middle of space, and we're able to sit here and have a conversation.
Yeah.
How good
is
that?
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I had to come up into space to get away from some of the problems down on Earth. So.
Yeah, there for a while it was getting real rough. I had a time when I was first training to become a professional wrestler, and one Saturday, the coach Vern Gagne was one of my coaches. And he said, I want you guys to come down and watch the show and get an idea of what you've gotten yourselves into, you know. So not all of us had been qualified yet. We were still in the training process. So there's about 8 or 10 of us. And of course, I went out and bought a brand new shirt, a navy blue shirt and long sleeves, and got my hair all fixed up, and figured, I'll just be there and look professional. So they went through about half of the show, and Vern Gagne came out and said, hey, all of you trainees, go with Marty O'Neill. Marty O'Neill was the announcer. He said, go do a promo with him. So we all walk over, and that's when you realize you're in a whole different world, because it's live, and we're in a commercial break, and all of a sudden the director goes, okay, we're back in 10, 9, and Marty O'Neill looks around. He goes, well, I guess I'll talk to you, kid. And I was standing there, and Marty was only about wasn't even 5 feet tall. So I towered way over him. And when we came back to 2, 1, and that red light came on, that camera, I froze. I mean, it was like, well, here we, and he came back, and professional as he was, and telling about who he was going to interview, and he looks over at me and asks me my name, and I went, and so we went through this whole interview. I don't remember a word I said or any of the answers I gave him, and then they went to the ring for the match, and he looked at me. He said, "You got it, kid. You've got it." That was that your first interview? I said, "Yes, sir. It was my first interview." So we go away from the interview area, and Fergagna comes out. He says, "Okay, you guys, we're almost done with the show. Go down and change. We're going to do a little workout after we're off the air in the ring." So I go down, and all the other guys who hid behind me decided, hey, that was pretty good. That was good. So we go down. I start undressing, and I took my brand new navy blue shirt off, and it looked like it was still on. I sweated so much that the dye was completely over on my body, and I kept feeling like sand in my mouth, and I wiped it off, and here were white particles were my teeth. I had ground my teeth so hard when I was doing this that parts of my teeth were in my mouth.
Wow.
But that's when you realize, you're in a whole different world when it comes to something like that. But as soon as I left there and I went down to a local place that we had beers and things, everybody saw me on that show because it was live. They said, "Hey, we just saw you on television." I knew I was gonna make it. That gave me the inspiration that I wanted to do that for the rest of my life, to be recognized and be a star of some sort. I always
wanted to bought you a round of drinks.
Yeah. No, are you kidding? You don't know the guys I was hanging out with. But
could have been worse, though. You could have been the Shockmaster.
Yeah, that was my first moment of reality to the world, because I always just kind of went along with everything. It was, I was a high school athlete, won all kinds of awards. I was my most valuable player of my football team, both my junior and my senior year. But I never had to go on a live television show or anything like that. I would get awards, and different celebrities or athletes would come to the events and give us the awards. That was always a pretty big deal. But to be on a live broadcast like that,
Wow.
And Mark, Mark inspires me, because when I see some of his work, I mean, the guy's an artist. It's no way about, it's some of the things that he does with his hands and his knowledge of how to do them. It's so incredible when he sends me photos. There you go. He creates Sgt Slaughters that they're one of a kind. He always makes me look like I'm the toughest, baddest son of a gun in the country, which I am.
Oh, that's
Look
cool.
at that. He just has so much creativity. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Well,
it's amazing. And I'm sure through all of his, Mark had a little illness himself, and I had the same problem way back. And I think it was a gallbladder, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Right. It's amazing how much pain you can go through with gallstones. I've had kidney stones.
Yeah.
But I'll let him tell the story. But I had to finally, on Thanksgiving evening, my family and I went to our neighbors for Thanksgiving, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was sitting doing headstands, trying to do I'd ram myself into the wall to try to get the pain to go away. And I said, well, I'm jumping my car. I drive. I don't know how I did it in all the pain I was. I drove to a little convenience store, got some Tums, and I started eating the Tums, and I headed for the hospital. I said, if it doesn't stop hurting by the time we get to the hospital, I'm checking myself in. So it didn't stop. So
yeah.
was yours like that, Mark?
Yeah. When I ended up in hospital a couple of years ago, because I wasn't in a good place then, I started to lose all my weight and everything. And then after I started having the pains around Christmas time, and I was told it was lactose intolerant and all different things. And it wasn't, it was gallstone pain. So I've passed 2, which are horrendous. If you've ever, I don't wish it on anybody. It can go on for weeks or months, and then all of a sudden they'll just vanish all of a sudden, because the actual gallstone gets stuck in the bile tube, and then it'll move out, move back in, and everything else. So it's very bad. And then I won't go into too much detail. And then,
it's fine. I just I'll be all right.
that's how my surgeon told me about it and everything. But he said it was brought on by losing so much weight so quick.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's one of the symptoms. So I was a bit gobsmacked, and then I had the surgery, and then a pain that I was always having for 12 months or more, like a burning pain in the chest, which everybody put down to my gallbladder.
Right.
But then that went. I had that removed, day surgery, and then I still had the pain, and it was getting worse. And then I ended up having a heart attack because. My artery was blocked, and that was the pain. It was telling me that it was blocked, but the doctors said it was due to my gallbladder. So
amazing.
I'm just glad then. I was trying to do a walk then with my dad, and I said something's not right. So I drove myself to A&E, and then we'll do some tests. My heart was fine in itself, and my blood pressure and everything else. And they were like, we think you might have. They tested the troponin level, which is a new thing they do. And it's supposed to be between like 4 and 25. And mine came back at 605.
Wow.
So he said, we think you've had a heart attack. And I was like, okay. And then they did it again, and it went up to 905. So I was gobsmacked, and they kept me in. And then 2 days on some different tablets, and then I had to go to Worcester Hospital, and they did the angiogram through the vein in my arm. All up. I was all awake while they were doing it, and Dr. Smith was fantastic. And he said, technically, Mark, back in the day, this would be like a triple heart bypass, but I can fix this for you now if you would. And he actually said, if you would like me to, with stents. I said, yes, please.
Oh, don't twist my arm. Don't twist my arm.
I said, yes, please. Considering you've got this camera up my arm and into my heart. Yes, please. Fix me now.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah. So, and then he said, I just want to check around the back of your heart, because you might need one back there. But he said, no, you just need how would they do it? He said, I'll put a balloon in your artery and blew it up for you. Amazing, the technology. And he said, I flushed it then as well. And then I didn't feel a thing, absolutely nothing. And then they let me home the following day, and it was amazing. So blessed and grateful. And my dad was so pleased to have me back home and everything. It was just, he was worried senseless, and I was, but thankfully I got some fantastic neighbours next door who are friends as well, and they checked in on my dad and everything. So it was just, they said, look after yourself, we'll look after your dad and everything.
That's great.
Can't thank them enough for it. It was fantastic. So
that's great.
And the hospital and everything, they were wonderful. So, and I'm still here to tell the tale, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're going to get ill, now's the time to do it, because there's so many things where 100 years ago it would have been a death sentence. But nowadays they can fix so much. You know, we're quite in that regard. We're lucky to be in this age. There's a lot of things wrong with this age, but the medicine's getting better all the time.
Yeah.
What do they do up in
do?
What do they do up in space there, Space Commander, when you get sick? Do you have a a medical capsule you have to go to, or
that's right? Yeah, if you don't get to the medical capsule, if you don't get to the medical capsule quickly enough, it can be a right mess, because you can just imagine someone puking up in 0G. Oh, good grief! You have the old squeegee mop out for weeks trying to clean that stuff off the interior. Oh,
stuff floating around there.
That's right. That's right. You've never blown chunks till you've done it in space. Trust me.
I think I'll start the episode with that, Space Commander.
Wow. That's an image I'll never forget.
What I will say,
I'm so pleased that Mark is on the show with me, because I've been communicating with him for years, and it's almost like having a brother that I never had. You know, I so concerned about him that he's okay. He's in the hospital. Then he comes home. Then he goes back to the hospital. And his father, the general, I'm thinking, gosh, he's probably all by himself. And Mark's in the hospital, worried to death that who's taking care of the general. And I almost jumped on a plane and went over there.
Yeah. Oh, God bless you.
That was back at the start of the pandemic, and you couldn't do anything. You couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm sure that a lot of your pain these days of missing your father helps to have that creativity that you do to go into your room. I don't know where you do it, but you come up with some of the greatest things that I've ever witnessed, and he sent me, one of them, and I have it in my office. I meant to bring it, but I'm not at my office today. Yeah, it's just incredible, the display he has.
Yeah. They don't look like they've been made. They look like they're factory bought.
Yeah. But they're all one of a kind. It's amazing. I just visited Bobby Vala at his shop, and that's pretty amazing too. He's in Rhode Island, and you walk into what you're thinking is just a garage type look, and you walk in and everything's in showcase. He's got one room where he does all of his artwork, all of his mailings, and then he's got rooms where he has meetings and all these crazy things. Yeah, there it is. There's the comic.
It's floating at 0G.
Yeah, there it goes, floating through.
That's gone.
That was pretty amazing to see what he did.
Yeah.
And he created, he does all the artwork. He puts all the action figures together, comes up with the drawings. He does his own comic books. It's truly amazing. I just people like him and Mark. There you go.
That's cool.
That's one of my favorites there.
That's the first one I ever did.
Did you do the card art as well, Mark?
No, I'm not that talented. No.
well, mate, I think that you are that talented. That fooled me. Like your abilities to create a custom that looks like it's not a custom.
Yeah,
it looks like an official made product is just testament to your abilities, mate.
It's just thank you so much, thank you. It's just they always did the 3 3/4, and I said to me dad, I want a decent 6-inch, 7-inch figure of the Sarge.
Yeah,
and being the Sarge, you got to make it, get the guns out and everything else from
the
cartoon. So thankfully, Mattel did the head for him, which was fantastic. And then, God bless, you did a Brock Lesnar as well, and his arms are massive. So I thought, right, I'm going to intertween them both. And then I was like, right, yeah. And then Necker as well did the Arnold Schwarzenegger Dutch figure from Predator.
Oh, right, yes.
So the top half of him is a Mattel figure, Sarge, and then Sarge's body, Brock Lesnar's arms, and then Dutch's legs for that one in the card. And then just from there started going. So it was, and then gradually they've started doing more. And then with Bobby doing the Action Force figure, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Both of them.
Yeah.
And now with
we're
Hasbro,
spoiled for choice now.
Yeah, Hasbro doing the picture I saw of the new Sarge, and it's like I need about 40 of them. So
yeah.
It's fantastic.
We're definitely spoiled for choice. We have all of these and more to come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'm glad I got the was it the San Diego last year, isn't it? The USA one.
The Mattel.
Yeah.
That was San Diego. We were supposed to go to San Diego, but then they canceled anybody being there live, so they did it
virtually.
Oh, right. Okay. So because I got mine from the website. I didn't know that it was so that was supposed to be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, right?
Right.
I changed that.
I had no idea. I just knew that Mattel was bringing it out on their website, so I stayed up all night waiting for it to tick down the clock before you could order it.
Yeah, sold out in 2.5 minutes.
It was a stressful few minutes, I'll tell you. I think me and Mark must have been on there at the same time.
Yeah.
And leading up to it, I was like giving Mark little reminders. It's coming up. Don't forget.
But it was difficult to get though. For both of us, we struggled to try and get it, didn't we? It's it was.
I'm surprised we were able to, because I had to create a whole new profile. My profile was just not doing anything. So I had to create, in that 2-minute window, I had to create a whole new profile with a whole different email just so I could go through the checkout process, because my original one wasn't working at all.
Yeah. But they made it a lot better now. It was a lot of stress.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
As a Sergeant Slaughter collector, let me tell you, it definitely was full of stress.
My language, if my dad was here, he'd be able to tell you what my language was like trying to order it. I won't say it on here. This is a PG show, but it was really blue. The stress was unbelievable.
So, it was through the roof. Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't lose any hair. But, it's all bald in the back. That's why I never turn around. Yeah.
I've lost all mine due to the stress. So
was that what it was? Just for that one day? Yeah. Yeah. That's why Space Commander wears his hat too. He's hiding it.
You remember my hair? That waving hair, waving goodbye. Mark and I got waving hair.
You guys are sharing the same style.
Little bit of ginger.
A little factor, yeah.
I've got more on my chin than I have my head. So
I'll get there one day.
I was always going to grow my eyebrows out and comb them back, but it never worked.
It would be ironic if I went bald, because body hair is a huge issue. So if I ever ran out, I would just comb it all up and over.
Just cut some holes out.
Yeah, it'd be like Chewbacca. So
with me being ginger, if I took my top off, I do look like Chewbacca. That's the thing about it. It's weird.
Yeah.
I want to say, before we get too far from the topic that we were talking about as far as health is concerned, I do want to say that I think that it's great that you both were able to share stories of taking yourself to hospital when you didn't feel right, because I think with a lot of men, what they'll do is that they'll just deal with the pain and ignore it and not go and seek medical help. And then you try and tough through it. It's nothing. But in your instances that you've mentioned, it's life-saving if you do it quick enough.
Yeah. I said to my dad, I said, something's not right. The pain in the middle of my chest The burning, I was getting in the middle of my back as well, which I hadn't before. And I said, I couldn't even walk 100 yards. It was, but then as soon as you stopped, the pain vanished. It was with the exertion and everything. So that's why I drove myself on the way to the hospital. I thought, well, the pain's gone now. Should I just go back home? But
Right.
I thought, no, I'll go and get checked and everything else. And they were wonderful. I'm so glad I did, or else I probably wouldn't be here now. So
that's true.
And then
Well
my
done.
dad would have been on his own for the last few months of his life, and that's
that's a difficult thing to think about.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great photos of you and the General going on your walks, and especially like your throwback photos, where not only are you appreciating your father and that history that you guys have, but you also do get to see your weight loss journey in those photos too, because you have gone through. And I think it's hilarious, no offense, but you losing weight created health issues. That's so weird, isn't it? Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine losing weight gives you health issues. That's crazy.
It's amazing. I lost 8 stone, and then I had gallbladder surgery and a heart attack. And it's weird. Usually you put the weight on and have all that trouble.
Right.
So strange. Everybody, even my surgeons and everything, they laughed as well. It's like, it's weird how your body works. So but I'm glad I did lose the weight, because if I had a heart attack with all that weight on, then I probably wouldn't have made it. So it's weird how life works.
So how did you lose all the weight? What's your secrets?
I was on a calorie controlled diet and walking, because beforehand I was very depressed, even suicidal. So, and I was eating rubbish, absolute rubbish. So if you can imagine, when I ended up in hospital, because they thought I'd had a stroke, and I made a deal with the Lord above, if I get out tonight, I'm changing my life. So I did. And was the 16th of February 2020, just before the pandemic hit.
Right.
So I managed to start going before it was all on lockdown and everything. So, hold on, I've lost the thread. My memory is terrible. Old age is catching up with me.
Right.
So can you imagine? I was probably eating about 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day.
Wow.
And I went down to 2,000. So the weight just dropped off. It was amazing.
So what kind of things were you eating?
What, beforehand or?
Well, after, but tell us beforehand. Give us a before and after.
God. Oh, God, it's embarrassing.
No, it's fine. But you don't have to. It's fine.
Okay. Beforehand, I'd have a 16-piece bargain bucket from KFC.
Yeah.
And the fries, and eat all that.
Wow.
And McDonald's, I'd have big tasties, 2 big tasties, 2 quarter-pounders, and everything. It was bad, very bad.
Yeah.
And then I went down to eating salads and chicken.
Sure. Yeah. Well, chicken's good.
Yeah.
You can still eat the chicken. You just can't eat the bucket.
Yeah. You have to leave the skin.
Right.
Yeah. And then that was how it kept on going. And then with the walking the best I can with my knee, and because I need knee surgery, but since I had the heart attack, I can't have anything done for 2 years.
Right. Okay.
Because I need a complete new knee. Because I got no ACL, no meniscus, no cartilage. It's just basically bone on bone. Yeah.
Oh man, and the fact that you can still get out there and walk.
Yeah.
You need to do an action figure of yourself.
You need the knee brace
parts.
You need the knee brace that Action Force Sarge has.
Yeah. Take all the healthy parts of another action figure and put it together. Put your head on.
I wish I could. Yeah. I wish I was Lego. I could just swap things out and put new ones on and everything. Yeah, it'd be good.
I was like you, Mark. I got hurt, and I was nearing the end of my not career, but my run on top. you know, where you're the number one guy. And I hurt my back. I couldn't do anything. And I got depressed like you did. I started eating and eating. I had nothing else to do.
No,
because the doctors kept saying, well, we can't do surgery yet because of this and that and this and that. And I got up to 380 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just miserable. I was miserable. I'd have, every time I went to buy some clothes, I'd have to get another size bigger every time I go. And finally, I ran into a wrestler, an old time wrestler, and he said, "I'll show you how to lose the weight." And he said, "Don't worry about all those things you see on television and all the nutritionists and all this." So I said, "What is it?" So we went to a restaurant, and he said, "Order what you normally order." So I ordered something, and he took the salt shaker, took the top off, and half of my food, he put salt all over it. He said, "You won't eat that." But you can eat what I didn't salt. He said, every time you go to the restaurant, either tell them you want less or put salt all over it. So I did that for almost a year, and I lost almost 100 pounds.
Wow.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. But just walking through the airports these days is my,
Yeah.
You know, some of these journeys that you park your car and get your bag out of the trunk of your car and you start walking and you walk and you walk. I mean, it's cardiovascular. And I had to keep switching arms because I'm getting rotary problems from pulling my bags. But just that walking is so important. You know, you don't have to lift weights. You don't have to run. Walking is a very important part of staying healthy.
All my surgeons and my doctors say that, you know, just walking an hour a day is what you need to do,
right,
to keep the heart healthy,
right,
you know, and then eat well as well, you know, stay away from the fried food and everything, and just you know.
And Zazel, you're doing the right thing by enjoying nature at the same time. I mean, there's so much you don't see. I used to run, and at first I'd run with a headset on, you know, on my ears with some music to try to fight the pain until a couple of dogs attacked me from behind. I didn't even know they were there.
Right. Okay.
So I said, "That's no more. I got to be more alert." You know.
Well, I think the not having because music is great. Don't get me wrong. I love music, but I think part of me trying to be healthy is also not just, you know, my body, but my mind as well. And that's part of trying to clear my mind is just listening to what's around me and visualizing, you know, well, not visualizing, but visually taking in what's around me too, and just appreciating. I've been doing this walk with the headphones on for a little while, but not appreciating any of the nature that I was going through. Right. I was just, you know, if I had music on, I was just lost inside whatever song that was until I got to the destination. And now it's like I didn't know this was there. I didn't know that was over there. You know, it's just you get to see a lot more if you open yourself up to it, and it makes it so much more enjoyable. It's not a chore anymore. It's an adventure, you know. Yes. But Space Commander, I do want to hear what kind of stuff you do, your neck of the woods, to, you know, try and keep a healthy mind and a healthy body. Or what aren't you doing that you would like to do? Because there's a lot of things I'd like to do that I'm not doing.
Well, it's you and I have spoken a couple of times about this. I don't really talk about it much online because I don't want people thinking I'm one of those guys who goes on the internet to get sympathy clicks. You know, I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah.
But I've mentioned to you, Zazel, a few times. I've got a few one or two sort of ongoing conditions that I have to manage on a daily basis. So each night, for example, I take I have like nearly a dozen tablets that I have to take, and not all of those are space meals. Some of them are, but
Proton energy pills.
But yeah, I have to. That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few things I have to take care of. But like Sarge was saying, your portion size when you're eating, all my meals are tiny. I try to. It's not necessarily about weight control. It's if I have too much in one go, it really does me in. And I know that's that may seem like an alien concept to some people. No pun intended. But for most people, having a big meal is like a pleasure. It's something to look forward to. But for me, it's unfortunately I kind of tend to see food as being just fuel. It's like just something necessary that I have to do to keep ticking over.
Right.
If I could get through life being battery powered, I'd be happy. But but I have to eat. So all my meals tend to be very small. If I was to have a big meal, I would be wiped out for the rest of the day. And it's a shame because when me and Mrs. Space Commander first got together, she loves to go to a restaurant and try different things to eat. And I was trying to sort of explain to her, I have to be careful. I have to watch what I eat, and I have to have like small portion sizes. And I don't think she quite twigged. I wasn't being fussy until one day we ate out, and I had such a big meal. I came back to her place, and I was in so much pain. I went to lay down, and I eventually fell asleep, and I slept for like 12 hours straight.
Wow.
And when I woke up, she kind of realized, oh, right, now I see. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So now, before we go anywhere, we like really study the menu, and we'll find something. If I ask them for this off this meal and that off that meal, and I ask them to leave this and this off, and just have that, and if necessary, pay a little extra to get them to make the meal like that, then fine.
Yeah.
And then she can have whatever she wants. But it's interesting what you were saying about trying to stay healthy and yet still having a problem like the heart attack. Because my mum recently, she bless her, she has a very strict diet that she sticks to, and she goes out on her bicycle every day and cycles. And not too long ago, she had a heart attack whilst out on her bike. Luckily, she started to feel this happen when she was near my uncle's house, so she was able to stop there, and they called an ambulance. But this is my mum. It's interesting that we're celebrating the Queen's Jubilee this weekend. Because who is more English than Space Commander's mother? She contacted us via the satellite link up and said, it's okay. She said, I've had a very small, mild heart attack. It's mild and it's small. A small heart attack, mild.
Don't worry.
I said, Mum, it's still a heart attack. So now she's had to, just play it cool. A very English thing to do, play it cool.
Yeah.
And she was sort of complaining, I have to take like 5 tablets a night now. I'm like, only 5? Come on. I've got that beat. But it's funny, a lot but a lot of this sort of for me personally comes from sort of digestive problems. And it's interesting looking back at when I was a kid. I remember, as I was saying to Zazel before, I've got really clear memories of my childhood, but not so clear memories of recent times. But I remember many times I was trying to tell my parents, they'd give me my tea, and of course I'm expected to eat it, or dinner, I should say, for the international audience. And quite rightly so, they're expecting me to eat my food. And I would say to them, I don't want to eat it. It makes me feel ill. It's giving me stomachache. And I don't really blame my parents, because at the time, this sort of thing wasn't really a known phenomenon. Yeah. And they naturally just thought that I was being a fussy little brat. So I don't blame them. But looking back on it, I think that this has been going on sort of my whole life. And it's tricky because it makes it difficult for you to eat the right kind of food that would help you put the muscle on. I would love to do that, but if I eat certain things like that, it's going to give me problems. And another problem is things like bone density. If I'm not taking on enough, like Mark was saying earlier, lactose intolerance. You're not getting any vitamin D in your system, so your bones aren't developing strongly enough. So that's another problem. You know, one of the ways I used to, my main form of exercise used to be long distance running, which was fine until I broke both of my feet.
Oh,
Ouch.
how hard were you running?
So, well, that's the thing. If you've got like if you've got the skeleton of a 70-year-old woman, you don't have to be running.
That's right.
The first foot I broke, sitting down. I just sat down. And my foot went pop.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my other foot I've broken twice, just by walking. So nowadays I've got like one of those little pedal machines.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm getting the motion of running, but without the impact on the ground.
Right. Yeah.
And also, it's very important to exercise. It's very important to exercise up in space, because if you're not getting the, you know, because the less gravity on your muscles don't have anything to resist against. So you're not working out your muscles like you would on Earth. So yeah, we have a little compact gym up here on the space station. But whereas all the other space patrollers, all the big tough guys are up there working out, I'm just sitting there with my little pedal machine, pedaling back and forth,
powering the
muscles
space
going.
They won't.
That's
hear
right.
it from me.
Yeah. When the reactor goes down, I get straight on that thing.
I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, you're thinking safe. So what I do understand now, though, Space Commander, is if Mrs. Space Commander makes you a big meal, then she really just wants a quiet night to herself, right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Here, eat this. Eat
Nice big meal. Have a nap.
So I can have a nap.
Yeah. It's usually if she wants to watch a horror movie marathon or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment down below.